We've always been conservationists in heart and for survival on the salmon resource. We've done 30,000 years of restoration and rebuilding by our natural respect for the resource.
A lot of people on the Yukon River are making sacrifices to not fish for salmon.
We're exhausted. We've conserved to the limit that we can't conserve anymore.
The salmon were declining, people were noticing that, and they wanted their voice heard when management decisions were being made. And that's how our organization was developed back in 1990 in Galena. YRDFA was developed by fishermen.
We represent all user groups and users of the Yukon River as a resource. Our board is made up entirely of people that live on the Yukon up and down. You know, we have representation from the coastal communities out in Hooper Bay all the way up to Eagle. This project started really in 2019 after that extreme heat year. The communities of St. Mary's and Huslia reported that they saw fish floating essentially belly up. Scientists, researchers, they weren't able to get out to those communities. And so basically it was this die-off event that wasn't undocumented, but more could have been done.
We wanted to work with those communities and another scientist who's working on heat stress and salmon, Vanessa Von Bila, to develop a way for the communities to be more hands-on, to be the first responders, to monitor the temperature of the water so that they could maybe anticipate if something was going to happen to the salmon.
We do monitor a lot of other locations, like along the Yukon. They're a small logger, and you can anchor that to a bank or to some vegetation or on an anchor with a buoy. Through monitoring, you can now identify thermal regimes that would have an impact on these fish. And so that's how those two communities got involved, for the temperature network monitoring and then the rapid response team. And then Nolata was chosen for carcass surveys, and that's led by our partners at ADFNG.
The work that we were trying to do was to look at the diving levels in the Chinook salmon eggs to see if there's a deficiency. And there's been studies that show that there's a correlation between low diving levels with compromised eggs from the fish.
One of the reasons the research right here is so important, because this is right when the fish have left the ocean, and it gives us that window to understand how was that ocean experience for those fish.
The other part of the project was working with a Luckenook and a Monic and another scientist, and they had a theory that what the salmon were eating out in the ocean was of poor quality. So when the salmon were entering the river, they were in a weakened state. So they asked me to go out there and conduct interviews with knowledgeable fishermen about these changes potentially in the salmon.
When I was growing up, there was no sandbars in the river, nothing. Yukon was Yukon, but now it's all a lot of sandbars, especially still the area.
Seems like the summer chums are spreading out in their coming in there. We can see more of them in early August.
These scientists understand that the people who live on the river have local and traditional knowledge, which is generational knowledge and observations of these salmon. They would be the first people to notice if something changed in the salmon's health. Much of the expertise is already there in the communities.
In 2021, Summer Chum was open and it was dismal. We have an average earn size of Summer Chum 1.6 million, and at the end of the season, after the genetic analysis and everything that was done, the count was under 200,000. I think that is the main reason why I do the work today, because I've seen my kids begin to learn how to cut fish, and then I see them not having the opportunity to do that. And it's kind of emotional. It's hard because it's not only me that's experiencing that. It's every family along the Yukon River that's feeling that loss, that sense of not being able to pass on their traditional knowledge to their kids, to their grandkids. Our organization is bringing people together that are expert in what they do and making sure that the people on the Yukon River know exactly what's going on and making sure that their voices are being heard when management decisions are being made.